KK Jalan, Commissioner of the Employees Provident Fund Organization, joins us. It's a rare appearance, Mr. Jalan. Thank you very much for joining us. We need to understand a lot of ground numbers itself, since we don't know these numbers well. Just give us an idea of the normal funds. What are the normal inflows and outflows that the EPFO experiences annually? Say, for instance, in FY14.
Yeah, let me mention about the normal outflow. Normal outflow is we have 1.2 crore claims every year. Now, we are settling that claims, and the claim outgo is roughly around 3,000 to 4,000 crore per month today. Now, we have a pension outgo also. Pension outgo today is roughly around 10,000 crore a year. Now, that if we count, we are left with around 50,000 crores a year for investment. Therefore, our current inflow is definitely more than the current outflow in any month.
Does that include your interest as well, the interest that you earn and which you can reinvest?
Yeah, naturally, the interest, what we do is, we declare the interest every year. Whatever we accumulate, we declare interest every year, and we then credit that to everybody's account. Now, therefore, we don't have any interest amount per se left with us.
Okay, now let me come to the question which the markets are interested in. What are your key investment norms currently? How much do you invest, for instance, in government bonds, in public sector company bonds, and in private company bonds?
You see, investment norms, there is a system. The investment norms are decided by the Ministry of Finance first, and from the Ministry of Finance it comes to the Ministry of Labour. The Ministry of Labour then sends it to the Central Board of Trustees, and therefore a overall pattern is given by the Ministry of Finance. It can be tweaked to some extent by the Ministry of Labour. It can be further tweaked by the Central Board of Trustees. Till now, we have been very, very conservative in our investments. Now, we presently, if you see our corpus, if I talk of 5,40,000 crore, roughly around 68% is in the government securities, which means central government as well as the state government securities.
So, you're not investing at all in equities now?
The Central Board of Trustees till now has decided that there will be no investment in equity. Last time it met in August, this issue again came up before the Central Board of Trustees, and the Central Board of Trustees deliberated upon that issue and decided that no investment in equity.
Who actually shot it down? Was it Labour Ministry or was it the EPFO trustees?
You see, naturally, the scheme of things and the law lays down that the Central Board of Trustees works under the overall guidance of the Ministry of Labour, and therefore CBT to that extent is subject to the directions of the Ministry of Labour. The para 78 of the Employees Provident Fund scheme very clearly tells that the directions of the Ministry of Labour will have to be followed.
Now that there is a new government in power, are you smelling any chance of reconsidering equities as an investment class?
I just mentioned that this issue did came up before the Central Board of Trustees in August 2014. They deliberated upon it and they decided that no investment in equity.
Oh, I thought you meant the previous August. Mr. Jalan, you're a veteran in this space. What is your own view with respect to EPFO investments in equities?
My view doesn't count here. I cannot have I am the Secretary of the Board of Trustees. I am here when I am giving an interview to you. It is basically on, I can tell you the official view only.
No, I agree. I agree that that is the official view, but, you know, times are changing. So do you think time could be ripe for, or at least is the government considering, anyone in government considering that the time is ripe for reconsidering the investment in equities?
You see, we have been giving always lot of ideas to the Central Board of Trustees. We are supposed to give them the feedback. We have been given that feedback, and it has been discussed in the last meeting of the CBT, which was held in August 2014. Next meeting will be held in November 2014. Maybe every meeting of the Central Board of Trustees can bring something new, but as on today, no investment in equity.
All right, I'll not belabor that point any further, and let's wait to see what happens at the November meeting. Let me come to what you're already investing. What is the extent of your investment in private corporate bonds, and are they all AAA?
Presently, it is AAA rating only. And with that also, with certain more conditions, that they must have a profit, they must have that so much corpus and other things.
Actually, very recently, you all clubbed your investment in state-owned PSUs with AAA corporate bonds. So, does that mean that more money is finding its way into private corporate bonds?
No, not exactly. What you are saying is not exactly true,
okay,
and not exactly false also. But you see, there are two things here where some confusion gets going. I mentioned it to you that we have two trusts. One is the EPFO, its own money of 5,40,000 crores.
Yeah.
And second is the individual trust money, which also we oversee, which is around 2 lakh to 2,50,000 crores. Now, which this money, naturally, you see the initial guidelines of the investment are being taken by the Ministry of Finance. And naturally, these trusts to some extent have some leeway there.
Okay.
And I don't have that leeway. I get guided by the Central Board of Trustees.
Okay.
While these trusts can play up with the guidelines given by the Central Board of Trustees, because overall the Ministry of Finance guidelines prevail. And that do permit equity participation.
Okay, and that's not a small sum. You say it's 2.5 lakh crore. That's a tidy amount. Okay, now public sector banks can float infra bonds. In fact, some of them have already floated infrastructure bonds. Are these eligible for EPFO investment?
Yeah, they are eligible for EPFO investment as such. But I am saying they all cover under the category of the PSU bonds.
Okay.
Even the FDs of the banks, some of the banks have now come with the FDs of more than 5 years. They all come over the category of the PSU bonds.
And they are in the same level, same category as the AAA corporate bonds?
No, there is slight difference between the PSU and the private sector. Private sector is AAA. These, you see, then also we have lot of nationalized banks. And the private sector banks, we are basically, I think, 3 or 4 are entitled today to get the EPFO money because of the various restrictions which have been levied by the Central Board of Trustees.
And as of FY14, or even for that matter FY15, how much is in the private sector corporate bonds?
Presently, you see, I mentioned out of 5,40,000 or 5,75,000 crores, 5% money is presently with the private sector. Private sector today.
Okay, so I guess that would be about 25,000-30,000 crores. Is that the total money available to the commercial sector every year, around that 25,000-30,000 crores?
In a way, yes. In a way. We can go up to 10% if we get good opportunity and we get good proposals. We can go up to 10%.
Okay, let me just change tack a bit. Mr. Jalan, what's your, I mean, since you're such a big bond investor, what's your view on interest rates this year? You see yields falling? Yes,
EPFO is having the pinch of falling interest rates, and we are really bothered to that extent. Of course, for it, I cannot speak with authority that it is good for the economy or it is bad for the economy, but yes, EPFO is having, in a way, slightly bad time compared to what it was before.
Okay, well, it could be good for the economy, as you say. All right, finally, when are investment norms likely to be revised? Are they usually revised annually? When are they next likely to be revised?
The Ministry of Finance revises its guidelines periodically. Periodically means the revision took place in 2008, then it took place in 2013, and it is underway in 2014 itself. They have already sent us the draft guidelines and they have asked for our comments on that. Now, that is the Ministry of Finance takes that view. And then it comes to the CBT, and CBT takes a view on that. Therefore, periodic changes can be made by the Ministry of Finance at any point of time, and the Central Board of Trustees, within the overall guidelines given by the Ministry of Finance, can make those changes anytime. And we do continue to tweak on certain things in every meeting.
But you are not smelling that you are likely to enter equity markets anytime soon.
Yeah, as on today, the equity looks very attractive, and therefore I think we let the CBT look into that.
All right. On that positive note, Mr. Jalan, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us.